Hola chicos, ¿cómo están? Bueno, hoy vamos a hablar sobre la segunda semana, ¿ok? En esta segunda semana van a seguir viendo subjuntivo. So this second week, you're gonna continue looking at subjunctive, like different things that trigger the subjunctive. Something that is important to pay attention to is that the subjunctive with conjunctions is that the conjunctions can trigger the subjunctive or not. Okay, so pay attention to that. So it's not the main clause, but the connector, what is going to be triggering the subjunctive. Another thing that you're going to see are perfect tenses. Okay, perfect tenses are verbs. Let me share my whiteboard. Okay, are verbs, okay, that are composed with two things, okay? So you already saw, so it's any perfect tense, okay? I'm gonna perfect tense. So I'm gonna put, you need the verb haber, and then you need the past participle, okay? So what is going to happen here is that the verb that you're gonna use or conjugate is not going to be the one that is conjugated. You're going to conjugate the verb haber, and then the verb that you have is going to become a past participle. Okay. So for example, if I say comer, okay, is you're going to conjugate the verb. So for example, yo, and then the past participle, remember it's you drop the er and then you put ido or ado, okay? He comido, okay? Remember, it depends on the ending, okay? Something that you have to kind of remember is that if you have with the past participles, okay, if you have, for example, leer, which when you drop the er, you have a vowel there. It's going to be with an accent, so it's going to be leído. Okay. So, what happens? Okay, so we have present perfect, past perfect. Okay, and we also have present perfect subjunctive. Okay. So I'm going to give you the difference between present perfect and past perfect because both of them are talking about things that already passed, okay? Because you're already using a past participle, so that means that it already happened, right? So I'm going to draw something. So this is you or me or whoever, right? You have the past and you have the future, okay? Present perfect is talking about things that you have done during your life, okay? Any time of your life. So, for example, if I say in English, have you traveled to Mexico? It's kind of like saying in your life, have you traveled to Mexico? The same thing happens in Spanish. ¿Has viajado a México? Sí, he viajado a México, for example, okay? That would be with present perfect, okay? I'm gonna give you the conjugations, and I'm gonna continue using comer, so you can see that comer, the past participle doesn't agree with the subject. It's going to be comido for all 6 subject pronouns. Okay, so it's gonna be yo, tú, and I'll do this like this so you can see as, él, a, nosotros, hemos, vosotros. Oh my, something happened. Habéis with accent. Y ellos han. Okay, so what is going to happen here? So is that for all of these, it's going to be comido, okay? So yo he comido, tú has comido, él ha comido, nosotros hemos comido, vosotros habéis comido y ellos han comido, okay? Places like Spain use the present perfect to say that something just happened, okay? That, for example, he desayunado esta mañana. But in places like Mexico, where I'm from, um, you don't have that. You don't use the past participle, I'm sorry, the present perfect to talk about things that just happened. You would use the preterite, okay? It's very similar to English in the US, okay? That you use preterite to talk about things that just happened, and I'm sorry, present perfect to talk about things that you have done, right? What have you done in the last year? So you're giving kind of a time, right, limit. Um, then we have past perfect, which we're still talking about this time, right? The time in the past, okay? But what happens, what is different is that in the past participle, in the past perfect, you have an event in the past. Like, for example, when you, before you were 5, what happened, right? What did you eat insects? Okay. So you're giving a time. It could be anything. It could be this morning, right? Did you have breakfast before coming to class? So coming to class would be the event, and the past participle is saying, have you, did you eat before coming to class? Okay, so that would be the past perfect. Okay, and what happens is you still have the haber, you still have the past participle, but the conjugation of haber is different. Okay, so it's going to be yo había comido, tú habías, ay, sorry, habías comido, él había comido. Oh, and this is, oh, I'm going to put them all together. Nosotros habíamos comido, vosotros habíais comido y ellos habían comido. Okay, as I said, this, so it's past perfect. So this is used with an event in the past, no matter when in the past, but before a certain thing, okay? So you can see a lot like antes de cumplir 5 años, habías comido insectos, for example, okay? Um, so that's the main difference, okay? With present perfect subjunctive, you have the same structure of subjunctive. So you need the main clause, you need the connector, and you need the subordinate clause. So the same things that were triggering the subjunctive in the present perfect, I'm sorry, in present subjunctive are going to be the same things that triggered in the present perfect subjunctive. So for example, espero que hayas ido a clase. Okay, I'm going to put the two different, so espero que, no. Okay. In this one, in the first one, which you have been seeing, is espero que vayas a clase, you're talking about futuristic things. So I hope that you go to class, right? In this one is that the class, for example, we're at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and the class was at 9. So I'm saying at 12 o'clock, so the class already passed, right? So at 12 o'clock, I'm hoping that you went to class. Okay, so it's very different. The first one is kind of saying, I hope that you go to class. The class hasn't occurred, and you're hoping that that person goes to the class. And this one is, I hope you went to class. Okay. Um, the same thing with with perfect tense. You need haber, and you need the past participle. And with haber, you're gonna put yo haya ido. Well, oh, sorry, comido. Tú hayas comido. Él haya comido. Nosotros hayamos comido. Vosotros hayáis comido. Y ellos hayan comido. Okay, so those are the three perfect tenses that you will see in this lección. Okay, I hope I kind of helped you understand the difference between the three. Remember, present perfect, you're talking about anything that happened in your whole lifespan or in the whole year or in the whole week, right? And past perfect is talking about something that like a moment in the past, like when you were 15 years old and what happened before that. Okay, and then present perfect subjunctive, you need the main clause, you need the connector, you need the subordinate clause. Remember, the main clause has what triggers the subjunctive, or the connector if it's a conjunction that triggers the subjunctive. And then you use yes, comido, ido, okay, whatever it is, okay? Another thing that you will see in chapter 13, this was chapter 14. Chapter 13 is giving you different things, as I said, about subjunctive, right? You have verbs of emotion, you have verbs subjunctive with doubt, disbelief, and denial. You have subjunctive with conjunctions, okay? So just pay attention. The 13.1 and 13.2 are the same thing that we saw last week, is subjunctive, but they're just different things that are triggering the subjunctive, okay? 13.3 is the one that I said that it's the connector who is triggering the subjunctive there, okay? There are two boxes. Pay attention to those two boxes. One is only for subjunctive and one is indicative or subjunctive, depending if it's in the future or if it's something that already passed, okay? So pay attention to those things, okay? So for this week, you're going to have the BB Learn assignment. You're going to be doing folleto, okay? So please get together with your partner, okay? And if you don't have a partner, please email me. I try to email most of you to see if you got a partner or not, because I saw the discussion board and I didn't see a lot of movement, but then I saw that a lot of you had already got together with a partner. So um, please let me know if you don't have a partner, so you don't get behind on everything, okay? You have that. Then you have the exam. that is going to be 13, lección 13 y lección 14, okay? So I don't know, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but if you do a study guide in each of the exams, so if, for example, this exam, do a study guide, write all the vocab of 13, all the vocab of 14, the rules for subjunctive that you see in 13, the perfect tenses on the 14. The more complete you do the study guide, I'm going to give you more points, extra points for that exam, okay? If you study with, like, for example, note cards, you can give me the link of your note cards or take a few pictures of them. Any way that helps you to study, okay? That this is trying to encourage you to study. On Friday, I'm going to be releasing the exam, so you have those 3 days to decide when you're gonna complete it. And I'm going to give you the prompt of the paragraph that you're gonna do for that exam, so you can start working on it. Most of you wrote really good paragraphs. I still had some that I was debating on if it was Google Translate or not. Please don't use Google Translate. It's not going to help you learn anything. So, because that's not how you learn. Try to make your own sentences. As I said, I prefer a smaller paragraph than a really long one that it's not written by you. Okay. Um, some of you wrote really little paragraphs. Try to write a little more. Okay. So take time using the dictionary, trying to think, okay, in the tense that I tell you, okay. Bueno, chicos, if you have any questions, please email me. Okay, remember Ana, ANA at uidaho.edu. Hasta luego.